Hello, hope you're doing well, and welcome back to Worship Wednesday. Today's subject is São Martinho. In 1580, São Martinho constructed for the Portuguese Navy as a galleon with 48 heavy guns and a complement of smaller weapons. And her name comes from Saint Martin of the Catholic Church. She can also be known by her Castilian Spanish name of San Martin. There you go, if you want to have something a little easier to say. So, shortly after construction, Portugal came under the worship of King Philip II of Spain, and with that came all her ships, including San Martino. When the Spanish Armada was formed later on, with the intent on invading England, San Martino was determined to be the best ship in the fleet and was then made the flagship of the eventual commander, the 7th Duke of Medina Sidonia, Alonso Perez de Guzma. San Martino played a crucial role leading the Armada as she was the flagship through the English Channel, fighting off many English ships, sometimes by herself. Although she fought hard, the actions of the English fleet, featuring Francis Drake aboard Revenge and many other ships whose names would be engraved in Royal Navy tradition following their actions fending off the Armada, all of that in addition to the weather, the Armada was worn down and forced to flee home, passing north around Scotland and Ireland, losing many ships along the way, losing many men getting sick. San Martino eventually made it back to Spain with very few of the other ships left, and she was incredibly damaged. Her crew was very sick and injured, and eventually just broke apart. So, for her skills, untarnished brilliance of gold, referencing the vast wealth of the Spanish Empire to be able to assemble this mighty armada and how invincible and strong they seemed. And then peerless cannons of destruction, she was just all firepower, very big ship, tons of heavy guns. Like I said earlier, 48 heavy guns, which was more than the entire armament of Revenge, captained by Drake, who had 46 guns total, with about an even split of heavy guns and smaller guns. So on to quotes. There's many quotes about the Armada, which she led. That's why she talks about it all the time, because she's the flagship. Makes sense. Her Secretary Idle 3 line is pay close attention to fleet logistics, and in particular, the ration supply line. She says this based on her own experience. Now, what's really interesting is that the Duke of Medina Sidonia was not a naval expert. He was an army logistics guy, and he did not want to be the leader of the Armada, and eventually got roped into it and agreed to do it. Originally, he just wanted to help them with logistics and then pass it on to someone else who was more experienced. And once they took off, one of his subordinates he put basically in charge because his subordinate knew much more about sailing, fleet actions than he did. The Duke of Medina Sidonia basically had to rebuild the Armada twice after the storms and raided by Drake came in and just wrecked them almost back to square one. And then her return from mission, she checks to make sure the commander isn't sick or injured, make sure all their legs are there. Likely a concern she gathered from seeing the sorry state of her crew after coming back from their unsuccessful invasion of England. And she has a sorry line with Golden Hind, remarking that she didn't think she would sail alongside Golden Hind. As Golden Hind was Drake's flagship for his circumnavigation around the world, in which he caused a ton of damage to the Spanish Empire, taking tons of riches and fruits and all sorts of stuff and capturing ships. It'd be a bit strange after that for them to fight alongside each other. And also at this time, Golden Hind was supposed to be moored up and preserved as the first museum ship in honor of her and Drake's exploits. And she has a couple lines about receiving food or needing a lot of food, as to with her commander being a logistics guy, keeping track of food. But after all the storms they went through and all the damage they took, she was basically out of provisions by the time they got back home to Spain. That's all I got for San Martino. Hope you enjoyed. I do have a recommendation for a video series if you'd like to hear more about the Armada. It's by the YouTuber Dreckenefeld. I did a great couple episode series on the Armada and some of the ships are involved. You get to hear more depth than I went to here, so I'd highly recommend watching that if you haven't done so already. Yeah, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.